Sappho was a poet who lived in ancient Greece around 600 BC. She was born on the island of Lesbos, a place known for its beauty and culture. Sappho's poetry is important because it gives us a glimpse into the lives of women in ancient Greece. Her work is full of emotion, especially love and desire. Sappho's poetry was very famous in ancient times. People admired her skill with words and her ability to express deep feelings. Although we only have fragments of her work today, they continue to fascinate and move readers. Sappho's poetry is still relevant today because it speaks to universal human experiences. Themes of love, loss, and longing resonate across time and cultures. Her work reminds us of the power of poetry to connect with people across centuries. We don't know all the details of Sappho's early life. However, we know she was born into an aristocratic family on the island of Lesbos. This meant she had access to education and the arts, which were highly valued. Lesbos was a cultural center, so Sappho grew up surrounded by music, poetry, and intellectual discussions. Sappho likely learned to play the lyre and sing. Music and poetry were intertwined in ancient Greece. She would have been exposed to the works of other poets, inspiring her own writing. Her family's status allowed her to pursue intellectual pursuits, which was unusual for women at the time. While we lack specific details about Sappho's formal education, it's clear she was highly educated. Her poetry demonstrates a mastery of language and poetic techniques. Her work suggests she was familiar with mythology, philosophy, and the arts, reflecting a well-rounded education. Sappho is most famous for her leadership of a thiassos. This was a group of young women who came together for intellectual, artistic, and religious purposes. The thiassos provided a space for women to learn, create, and bond with each other. Within the thiassos, Sappho taught her students about poetry, music, and dance. She shared her knowledge and inspired them to develop their own creative voice. Sappho's poetry often describes the close relationships between the women in the thiassos. The thiassos provided Sappho with a community of like-minded women and a source of inspiration for her poetry.